If Earth has already hosted intelligent life before us, if other civilizations have risen and fallen, their stories erased by time, then one question looms over everything we've discovered so far. Are we next? Or, more urgently, can we break the cycle? We often imagine ourselves as the pinnacle of evolution, the masters of Earth. But viewed through the lens of deep time, we're just the latest experiment in consciousness, walking a path already traveled, and perhaps already failed. We've built monuments, mapped the stars, unlocked the atom, and extended our reach into space. But we've also altered the climate, depleted resources, and built systems that rely on infinite growth in a finite world. In short, we've reached a familiar crossroad, the same crossroad that may have faced any civilization before us. So let's imagine this from a higher perspective. Let's step outside our era and view humanity like a layer in the rock record, a flash of activity, a strange chemical spike, a burst of radio waves, and then silence. That's how we'd look from the future if we fall. But what if we don't? What if we become the first civilization in Earth's long story to survive itself? That possibility requires us to learn, not just from science, but from warning signs already embedded in nature, myth, and matter. Signs that suggest intelligence alone isn't enough. Survival takes more than invention. It takes wisdom. And wisdom comes from perspective. We now know that Earth has suffered at least 5 mass extinctions, and each time, it reset the biological clock. Yet life always returned, different, stronger, more complex. Could intelligence do the same? Could it be that consciousness is not linear, but cyclical? Rising, collapsing, rising again? If so, then we may be the 6th attempt, or the 60th. And our legacy will depend on whether we learn from the patterns or ignore them. What would breaking the cycle look like? It wouldn't be just surviving the next century. It would be designing systems that heal the Earth. Technologies that don't just avoid harm, but regenerate ecosystems. Cultures that value sustainability over profit. Education systems that prioritize future generations over short-term gains. And it would mean becoming a civilization that looks beyond itself. Toward the stars, yes, but also back into deep time, searching not for glory but for guidance. Because if there were those who came before, we owe it to them to not repeat their ending. And if there were none, then we carry the burden of being the first flame in a dark universe, a flame that must not go out. This is where science meets soul. At the cutting edge of astrophysics, we're beginning to understand how rare Earth's conditions are, how delicate the balance, how unlikely the convergence that gave rise to thinking life. And yet, here we are. That rarity means responsibility. Because if we are the only ones, if there are no ancient architects, no star ancestors, no encoded messages in the rocks, then this is all the more precious and all the more fragile. So what does the future look like if we succeed? It looks like Earth restored, technology in harmony with biology, space travel not as escape, but as exploration with humility. It looks like monuments not of stone but of thought, data embedded in stable matter, stories encoded in resilient networks, not for us, but for the ones who come after. Because one day, someone will ask of us what we now ask of those who might have come before. Who were they? What did they value? And what did they leave behind? Let's make sure the answers are worthy. At Infinity Beyond, we believe our story is still being written, that the legacy of humanity can be more than just a chemical scar in a sediment layer, that we can choose to become the first civilization to echo forward, not fade backward. We are not destined to repeat the past, but we must first see it, understand it, and then surpass it. In our final segment, we'll take everything we've uncovered, the myths, the science, the anomalies, and ask the most important question of all. What do we do now? because the truth may not lie buried in ancient ruins, but in the decisions we make today. Stay with us.